I'm Justin Davis, and this is Drone Camps RC. Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. This is crazy. Back to the Future again just happened. I just got into a time warp, and here's an F7. This is an Omnibus F7, and it has dual SPI sensors on here, and it's 35% faster than an F4, which is kind of insane because F4s seem to be a lot to play with and a lot to tune and a lot of dampening. So I'm interested to see how this flight controller is going to play out next to an F4. I don't know why we are having an F7 here. I'm not an engineer, so I don't understand the technicality of maybe going from F5, F6 straight up to F7. Not sure why they skipped 5 and 6, but here we are at an F7, and this chip on here is gigantic. Look at how big it is. It almost takes up the whole top of the board. But I'm going to go ahead and zoom in a little bit closer, and I'll go over some of the hookups for all of your different stuff on here. This board is also about $52 on the GearBest website. So we'll just go ahead and jump right into this one. So here we go, guys. This board does have 5-star reviews. A lot of people seem to like this board and like working with this board. It is a bit more complicated than some of the other boards out there. It does have a lot of stuff going on here, but I'm going to try to make this simple for you guys, and we'll jump right into this. This is a 36 by 36 board, edge to edge right here, and it does have 30.5 millimeter by 35.5 millimeter mounting holes, standard 5-inch size mounting holes. So you're going to run this one down maybe to like a 150 or a 130 type of quad, all the way up to 200 and above. Now we'll just go ahead and get started talking about these two ports right here. The first one over here, this bottom one, you can hook up your 4-in-1 ESC to this, and it does have VBAC, current, ground, NC, PWM 1, 2, 3, and 4 for hooking up to your signal wires. If you want to do it this way, they also give you the option to do it over here on this section right here. So you have 5 volt, you have RAM, VBAT, PWM 1 through 4 on this side right here, and the grounds are on this side. And up at the very top, you have video in at the very top and video out for your VTX, and your camera will hook up here. You have ground, you have 5 volt, and you have your video in right there. And on the bottom row, you have ground, 5 volt, and your video out right there. Now, what's interesting about this board is the fact that it does have dual gyros, and they say that on the website, if you do put a GoPro on your quad, you don't have to retune it or repid tune it, because it handles that for you, which is kind of crazy. So for this top harness right here, you have CS, MOSI, you have SCK, you have MISO, and you have 5 volt and ground right there on the very end. And down from there, you do have where you're going to hook up your LEDs. At the very top right here, you have ground, you have 5 volt, and your LED hookup right there. And just below that one on the next line down, we have where we're going to hook up any type of PPM or S-bus receiver. Your signal wire for PPM or S-bus is going to go here, 5 volt, and then your ground right there. And then we have 3 rows of below, just below where the receiver and the LEDs hook up. We have a spot down here for a buzzer. If you want to do a buzzer, you're going to do it on this rail right here. You're going to do positive here and negative right here for your buzzer. And then we have ground, 5 volt, and VBAT over here. And just below that, on this last 6 down here, we have TX6 SCL, and we have RX6 SDA RX3, and we have current sensor right there. And below that, we have more options. We have ground, 5 volt to 3 volt, and RX1 and TX1. So it does also support DSMX receivers for you Spectrum guys. Now, aside from dual gyros on here on board working together to help this quad fly a little better, it also has Betaflight 3.2 already flashed on here. So guys that want to move up to 3.2, you don't have to worry about reflashing this board. It's already up to date, and that's also a big advantage. So it also has all the same advantages of an F4 flight controller, which is super nice. And it has a built-in barometer, which is also nice for guys that want to add any type of GPS to that. Now, if you're looking at the very bottom, you see that it also has black box SD card data support right here, so you can record all your black box data down to this SD, and you don't have to fly with this if you don't want to. Most of the time, I don't record my black box data just because I'm flying so many quads. But if you're flying the same quad all the time and you want to collect that data and go back and look at it later, this is a nice option. Now, I did see a review from someone that said that this harness, it's wired up wrong. So you're going to have to take a razor blade and just pop these off and redo the wires on this harness before you put it in there. So I'll go ahead and I'll put the schematic up on the screen right now. And just if you're using this video for a guide, go ahead and pause the video right here where it's on the screen, and then you can hook up your wires the right way for this harness. And also, guys, if you look at this board really closely, you can see that it is labeled underneath here, but it is extremely small. You almost have to have a magnifying glass on your bench when you're soldering this up to be able to read these. But you can see all of it in the schematic. It's just a bummer that it's not on the top. So like I said, this kind of takes me back to my SP racing boards that I used to solder up, because they were always labeled on the bottom but not the top. So current trend right now is that they're trying to label everything on top to make this a little bit easier for most of us that are coming in with wires from the top during our builds. But it also does support all the different Esc protocols out there for your Esc output signals, covering PWM, one-shot 125, one-shot 42, multi-shot, brushed, D-shot 150, 300, and D-shot 600. So this F7 is definitely going on one of my next builds, and I think it looks like a pretty awesome flight controller, and we're going to go ahead and solder up one of these and hopefully have it in a video coming up for you guys, and I'll show you if this one was a pain in the butt or not. But judging from the reviews out there, this one looks to be like a pretty good bet. So for I think under $50, this one would definitely be something I consider to put on one of my race quads for freestyle or racing. Thanks again for watching the channel and this quick overview of the Omnibus F7. I'm Justin Davis. I'll see you guys on the next one.